Okay, so the picture you can see here was taken in around 2005 when I was working for a media production college called DBS Music. So one of the jobs I had there was I had groups of adult education students and I had to teach them how to use a range of media production software, including large format analog desks, like you can see in the photo. So that is a Neve Series 51, an absolute beast of an analog console. And so what was interesting back then was that you had groups of 16 students and you got to see technologies like Facebook coming in, Twitter, things like that. Um, and it was really interesting to look at the students' technology habits. And the ones that did really well seemed to, in general, have some kind of discipline as to like how they use these platforms. So that led me on to a concept called dominating technology. Like, how do you dominate technology? How many people out there are really getting the most of it? So, for an example, like having an email list is really good, an autoresponder. Someone puts in their email address for a lead magnet, and then people get sent an automated sequence of emails. That's really good use of dominating technology. However, what's on the other side of that? Signing up to too many email lists and getting sent all this stuff to your inbox, which is all these different offers and all these different things, lots of negativity and lots of distractions. So it's a concept I like to kind of talk a lot about. How do you dominate technology? How do you get it working for you? And I believe in the future, some of the most successful people are going to be the ones that have got that digital discipline in and are absolutely dominating technology. And it was really fascinating because, I got to see I started there in 2000, September 2002, and that's way before Facebook, etc., came along. So you got to see students in groups of 16, adult learners, um, study in an environment before Facebook came along, and a lot of the other social network is MySpace back then. Um, and then these gradually technologies came in, and iPhones came in, and you got to kind of witness how students' productivity habits would differ because they were still doing from 2002 onwards. They were still doing pretty much the same courses, but it was just interesting how much more distracted they were, how much more focused they were when people started having like Android phones, smartphones, and things like that. So it was really interesting for me to sit back and observe how the students' like habits and productivity changed over time as more and more of these kind of technologies came back in. What was interesting as well, we had a big button on the tutor computer where you could just turn the internet off completely, and you'd be like, right, we need to get more stuff done. We're going to turn this off. And what was also interesting about it as well was that we had a system called Moodle back in 2005, 2006, very roughly. And what that let you do, it was an early forerunner, part of it was an early forerunner to Google Docs, in that you could see what the students had done in real time towards their written assignments. So you could really hold people accountable. So it's really interesting as well. You could hold different experiments, on the more you kind of checked in on students. So it gave me a really interesting kind of insight. So yeah, in the future, it's going to be essential for everybody to be dominating technology, not just letting it drag you around and, end up on YouTube just watching boxing kangaroos or some other thing like that. It's going to be essential for people to do well as they invent more technologies and more different ways for people to be distracted and dragged off by other people's content, to stay really focused. So this is an area I'm going to enjoy talking a lot more about, because what's the cost of this? What's the cost of being unfocused? What's the cost of all those notifications dragging you away from the work you have to do? There's this great picture of people in internet marketing of, sat on the beach with their laptop and working 4 hours a week and all this stuff. In reality, I have a lot of people contact me and I do a lot of breakthrough calls with people, and there's a really dark side to it as well, where people's lives have been ruined and, it hasn't worked out. They've quit their 9 to 5 job thinking this is going to be really easy. And in reality, it's a lot more kind of challenging than they expect. And the ones I see who seem to be doing a lot more successful, again, seem to have these technology habits down, and they seem to have that much more discipline. They've just kind of worked out little tweaks and stuff to get technology to work for them, rather than enslaved and dominated by the technology that's meant to be serving you.